Here's how we built this webinar for my friend and coach Sam Dema that generated $36,000 in 60 minutes. A few months ago, I was at a Dan Martell book signing event and we were talking about webinars. And I told him, I think these are one of the most powerful assets anyone can have in their business. So I made him an offer. I said, let me build you one, no cost, it will explode your business. And he kind of looked at me and said, prove it. Build it for Sam first. If it works, we'll talk. I said, okay, bet, let's do it. And I'm going to walk you through the strategy, but I'm also going to give you the tools, the templates, the slides, so you could build this out for your business. After the Dan Martell book signing event, I called Sam and he was in. But there was one big problem. Sam was just starting out his business. He had no email list, no business audience, and we were really starting from zero. I needed to create a webinar that could get results right away. That part was non-negotiable. But at the same time, I didn't want to build something that would disappear after one run. You know what I mean? Like I've seen so many webinars that they do it once. It's great. Everyone celebrates. That webinar just sits in like a Google Drive folder and just collects dust, right? So I started thinking, what kind of webinar could deliver results fast and become something we could use over and over again? I went into my webinar bank. I've done over 5,000 webinars and I went to go see what webinar style would work best in this scenario. There's launch webinars, value webinars, masterclasses, Q&A formats, a team webinar where you bring on your different team members. And so I decided to go with one of my favorites, and that is a flagship webinar. It's not just a webinar presentation, it's a system. You build it once and it works for you over and over again. And you could run it live every couple months, or you could run it on demand. You could slice up the content and use it. It's such an incredible sales tool. Now I'm going to walk you through exactly how we built it and give you the tools and resources so you can build it for your business as well. Biggest drop-off rate is in the first 5 minutes. So the first part of building this flagship webinar is creating an introduction that gets people to stay. Sam already had some credibility. He'd spoken on big stages. He built a great brand. He had a great story. But this coaching offer, it was brand new. So the intro, it needed to answer 3 questions that every audience asks. And you need to answer this with your audience. They're going to ask you, who is this? Why should I listen to them? And is it going to be worth my time? So this is a slide that we developed for Sam. It answered those questions. You could see right away, it provides credibility because it shows his speaking career. And he's a speaking coach, by the way. And it also shows his big accomplishments. How do you build the slide for yourself? This is a really good format that you can use. The first thing you want to do is you want to have a credibility picture. So this is really you in action with the dream desire that your audience wants. So if you're like a fitness coach, it's you doing fitness or whatever. What's the biggest dream outcome in a visual for your audience? And that should be your credibility picture. Then in the about me, you want to share your past accomplishments, share your track record, share the number of clients you've helped, any publications or press releases. Keep it simple. Go back and look at Sam's slide. It's simple. It's not too many slides. You don't want to overwhelm people. Right to the point. And really, really clean. Now that you have a strong intro, the next part about building a flagship webinar is huge. This is why I believe this works so well for Sam, is because we nailed the core message. Sam's a speaking coach. He helps people start and grow their speaking careers. So the next important part about building this flagship webinar was clearly defining the core message. And let me be honest with you, this was by far the hardest part about building this webinar. I wrestled with it. It wasn't obvious. I went through his old sales calls, podcast episodes he's done, different presentations, and everything felt too broad. It wasn't hitting. So after a couple hours just working on this, the line I ended up going with was this. The secret to booking speaking gigs isn't fame or experience. It's having a strategy and a system. Now, let me break this down because it's so important. The biggest objection that Sam's audience has to his offer is they think in order to have a speaking career, you need to have a huge social media following and you need to have a lot of experience. So if people have this belief and they hold that belief until the end of the webinar, they're not going to purchase Sam's program. So we had to break that belief. And this is the first slide that started breaking it. And really trying to get people to believe that, hey, it's not about the fame. It's not about the experience. You need systems and strategy to become a really great speaker. And that's exactly what Sam's story was. So that's the message that we dialed in. That's really what the core message is. It's the one belief your audience needs to have before they're ready to purchase your service, your offer. And if you don't dial that in, if you don't know what that is and you don't create content to reinforce that message, your webinar is not going to perform to the potential that it can. So you need to really figure this out. And I'm going to show you how you can do this. Ask yourself, what belief does someone need to have? What is the belief your audience needs to have in order to purchase your service? And if you want to see exactly how Sam shared this message and reinforced it throughout the webinar, I'm going to put a link down below. You can download the slides, you can see the recording, and we're going to give you access to all of the resources as I promised. So definitely check that out. That is such a valuable resource. Now, obviously, the webinar needed more than just a strong introduction and defining the core message. We also had to teach something valuable, show people the value of this program for Sam. Now, I'm going to show you exactly how we handled the pitch, what happened after, but first, we actually ran into a really big problem. 2 weeks before the webinar, we had 0 registrations, right? The content was there, the message was strong, no one knew this webinar existed, and even the best content in the world doesn't matter if nobody sees it. Now, after building webinars for 11 years, the key to getting registrations is great packaging. The better the packaging, the more the registrations. Every single time. What does packaging actually mean? Packaging is how you position your webinar. So it speaks directly to your ideal audience and it makes them think, I need to attend this. This is so valuable. I need to be there. I'm going to cancel my dinner reservation or my lunch reservation, cancel my meetings. I need to be at this thing. Your webinar needs to give off that energy, right? Great packaging makes your webinar feel valuable before anyone even clicks register. Here's how we package Sam's webinar. First, we had to focus on the headline. So here's what we landed on. Book more speaking gigs at higher fees in 2025. It promises 2 outcomes that every speaker wants. They want to get more speaking gigs and they want to charge higher fees. So we delivered them. And this is one of my favorite headlines that you can use as well. Just find out what are the 2 big desires your audience wants and share it with them. I actually got this from one of the best-selling books of all time, How to Win Friends and Influence People, right? 2 big desires, how to win friends, how to influence people. They just mashed it up into one headline. The next thing that we did is we created great eye-catching visuals. Like, look at these visuals here. These are beautiful. like these are absolutely great. I just love every part of these. They grab people's attention. They're interesting. They create some curiosity. They add credibility and they are clean. They're just so clean. Now, the next thing that we did is we created something very valuable for those that attended live. I call this the tangible takeaway. In Sam's case, it was this 7,500 speaker sales blueprint where you're going to get all these different call recordings and help to close deals. Now, here's a great tip. We made the bonus available only to live attendees. Being one of the greatest levers that you could pull on show up rates, offer a great resource, offer a resource so good that people would attend just to get that resource and make it available only if they attended live. The last thing that we did was created personal messages. So even though that Sam didn't have an email list, he did have connections. So we created text messages, voice notes, video scripts, email outreaches that he was able to use. And here's what happened next. 161 people registered. Like, to me, that's a huge win. It proves something I've seen time and time again. When your packaging is clear, focused, and outcome driven, people register. You got to make it a must-attend event. So here are 4 steps to help you package your webinar better. Number 1, pick a topic your audience actually cares about and wants to learn more about. If your audience doesn't care about the topic, if it doesn't grab their attention, they're not going to show up. Doesn't matter how great your resource is or how great your social media post is. So I know this is so obvious, but too many times when I speak to founders, I'm like, okay, what webinar topic do you want? They just pull one out because that's the one that's on their mind or that's the one that they think will do really well. You need to do your research and pick the right topic. I promise you that is like the foundation of getting really high registrations and show ups for your webinar. Step number 2 is write a headline that grabs people's attention. I can't emphasize how important this is. It's like the most important thing when it comes to packaging is your headline. Step number 3 is offer a valuable bonus for people that attend live, right? And make the bonus actually really good. Like, make it so that people don't even want to attend the webinar for the content. They want to attend the webinar to get the free resource. Step number 4, promote it using what you have. Your social media, your email, warm outreaches actually do extremely well with webinars, voice notes, calls, Spread the word the best that you can. If you do this right, you're going to start to see real traction. You're going to start to see your registration rates go through the roof without spending money on ads. Next up, I'm going to take you behind the scenes and I'm going to show you what happened during webinar day. At this point, everything was in place. The message was dialed in, the packaging was working, 161 people registered, but it's game time, webinar day. And I'll be honest with you, I was nervous. Even though I wasn't presenting, Sam was presenting, I was probably more nervous than Sam because I put like 30 hours into building this webinar. And you could build something great and amazing behind the scenes, the best slides, the best design, the best packaging. But the live session is where it gets tested. And if you fall apart during the live session, all that hard work you put into is gone out the window. Day, we had 91 attend live, which is a great show up rate, especially for a brand new offer with no list. Sam was calm, he was confident, and he was crushing it. But as we were getting closer to the 45-minute mark, this is where most webinars fall apart during the close. This is the point that separates average webinars from profitable ones. So I told Sam, the key to a great close isn't to sell. Explain. Just explain. It takes the pressure off. It takes the anxiety off. Just explain what your offer is, how it can help your audience, and the benefits that they're going to see. That's it. So we did a lot of the heavy lifting. We created the slides that really made the explaining easy. But all Sam had to do was bring that enthusiasm and explain it. Let me show you exactly what that looked like for Sam. So what we did is we took a service and we separated it into individual deliverables. Here is the first slide, right? Weekly live group coaching sessions. That's one of the things that Sam's offers. The second slide, to me, this is one of the most important slides because it speaks to all the benefits of that deliverable. Now, this is the only slide you're going to see where there's heavy text. The reason why is we need to address every single problem that the audience thinks that they have, right? And if we don't address everyone, then they're probably not going to purchase. Third slide shares a testimonial. So you're sharing a real life story of someone that's benefited from the program. This is what it looks like. The fourth slide, we showcase the value of that one specific deliverable, not of the whole program. This is of just the weekly group coaching session. We continue to do this for each deliverable and it doesn't seem repetitive. Like if you watch it from Sam, go ahead and watch it. It's clean. It's clear. It doesn't feel salesy. It feels really smooth. If you look at the comments section, no one is saying like, oh, like you're selling or you shouldn't be doing this. People are actually excited to see the offer because Sam is just explaining. And again, that is my biggest tip for you. If you get nervous about doing a sale or something like that, just change your mindset from being a seller to an explainer. And again, if you want to see the full slides, if you want to see Sam in action explain this, click the link below. We're going to send you the slides. Here's how you can apply it for your business. Use these 4 slides. Number 1 is the deliverable slide. What are your clients getting? And just be as feature focused as possible. This is not the time to talk about benefits or the outcome. Just what is it? The second thing, this is where the benefits come in. How does that deliverable benefit your audience? And you want to start to list them out. Now, don't show all the slides at once, like 15 different points at once. Make sure your animations are set up so that you're only speaking on the point that you're making. Slide 3 is a testimonial. Now, the more clear you can make that testimonial to that specific deliverable, the better. You don't need to do that. You could just have a regular testimonial, but if it can actually speak to the specific deliverable, that's great. That's amazing. So let's go back to the live webinar with Sam. He's at the 50-minute mark of the webinar. He just finished going through the program. He nailed it. This is another point where webinars flatline. There's always these different areas where a lot of webinars just don't make it through. And this is a big one. It's after you explain the offer, most webinars just end. And it's silence. And you get a couple sales, but nothing really great happens. So I had a plan. We layered in a promotion. Just like the biggest brands do on Black Friday or Cyber Monday, you could do the same thing with your webinars. You create a promotion that's so good, people are like, okay, I got to take action now. Instead of like, I could think about it. Maybe I'll go speak to my wife or my husband and I don't need to make a decision right now. If you add a promotion, you get people like, okay, I got to take action right now. Like I got to get moving, right? That's the energy that we want. Here's how we designed it for Sam. We used a framework I call the 4 P's of promotion. And here's how we applied it live. Now, you can use all 4 of these or a few of them. You don't need to use all of them, but the more that you use, the higher the conversion rates you're going to get. The first is a price reduction. lowering the prices. It's like Black Friday. It works. It gets people that are on the fence to take action. The second P were perks and bonuses. So we added some really valuable resources. And these aren't just let's just go into our closet and pick something out. These are actually well designed. These were very valuable. Third, priority access, right? So this is where you layer this one on with the others. We told attendees, the first 5 to join, get that sales call review with Sam. That alone created a lot of urgency and made people think okay, I can't think about this. I got to take action right now. Number 4, prompt action. 7 days. That's it. This isn't something oh, Sam, I missed it after 7 days. Can I get that pricing? No. And I told Sam, if anyone messages you after 7 days, say no. Make it real. Make this only available for a certain amount of time. It's better for your brand. It's better for all the long-term promotions. So how does this apply to you? Let's zoom out for a second, right? Let's take a deep breath. You don't need to run a high pressure, pitch heavy webinar to increase conversions. You just need to learn how to layer in strategic promotions. These simple shifts, guys, I promise you will increase your webinar conversions. I've done 5,000 webinars, some without these, some with them. And every single time, the ones that have these tactics in place, they just work better. They do. And for Sam, his inbox started flooding. He couldn't believe it, right? He actually messaged me. He's like, what did you just do? But there was still one more move we made, and it brought in almost 40% of the total revenue from this webinar campaign. So let me show you what that is. There's a myth I'm trying to kill, and it's this idea that most of the webinar sales happen during the webinar. This is the farthest thing from the truth. I've had over 250,000 people register for the webinars I've hosted, and a huge percent of the sales happen after the webinar. The truth is, a lot of people are leaving opportunity on the table. And for Sam's webinar, we built a simple campaign, which I'm going to show you, and it generated 43% of the total revenue came from that follow-up campaign. 43%. Let that sink in. So here's how you can do it. You don't need a fancy funnel. We kept it really simple. It's just a simple 5-part email. 1 email every day for 5 days after the webinar. So the first email was providing the replay and just a really brief intro into the service. Email number 2 is a direct offer and a link to a call. So this is where you're explaining your service, the benefits, and it's really your sales email. Email number 3 are Q&As and objection handling. So what are the biggest questions and objections that your audience has to your offer? And what you want to do is you want to address them in a simple Q&A style email. We also invited people to ask questions if they had them, which is really valuable to do. Be like, hey, if you have any questions about the program, just respond to this email. Okay, the next email was a value add breakdown of the offer. So this is where we focus more on the transformation. It's similar to email 2, just a little bit different, really focusing on the transformations. And then email number 5 is the final reminder, call to action, some urgency, mentioning the bonuses, the reminders, why you should sign up right away. You want to actually see these emails and copy them and use them and get inspired by them, click the link down below. I'm going to share all the emails so you can check those out. We put everything that we could into this webinar. I gave this webinar so much love and attention, from the strategy, the slides, the follow-up, the promotion. Look how beautiful just the social media posts were. And to me, it paid off. $36,000 in 60 minutes, no list, no paid ads, just launching a program. And what was cool was Sam sent the results to Dan Martell, sent a intro email to him and his team. And right now we're still speaking to his team. So hopefully we get the opportunity to work with him. I think this webinar would crush it for him and his company. Every cell in my body knows that this would be one of the greatest long-term assets for someone like Dan Martell. But even if that doesn't happen, that's cool, because this project stands on its own. I'm so proud of what we built. It's not just a one-time webinar, guys. We built a sales asset that if you repurpose it properly, this can print money for months and years into the future. So if you enjoyed this, I created another video where I break down dozens of different webinar lessons. So you could check that out here.